Hello, good evening to everyone on the call this evening. So good to have you here today. Thank you to everyone for coming this early. I saw okay, she left the call already. Hi Adekoyega Kafayat, good evening. Favor Adetun James, Dami Dolibi. Yes, Francis Wakike Shama. Thank you for coming. I think hi TJ. Special shout out to you. Don't worry, I'll do your proper shout out today. TJ is one that has made this event happen today. Like she has been the powerhouse behind this event since the beginning of um leverage effect expansion. So good evening, everyone. I'm so excited to be here today, and it's so good to have everyone on the call. Hi, Francis. I think I've been seeing you since day one. You've joined us since the beginning of this event, I believe. So good to have you here again this evening. And I believe the reason you are still here is because you've received value for your time so far. And I believe that today is not going to be an exception. So sit tight. This is the time to post on your social media handles. Let people know that we have started already. Let people know that they can join the moment they register. An email will be sent to them and they would be able to click on the link via the email sent to them. So yes, we are highly welcome this evening. I just want us to introduce ourselves once again for those who are here and probably let us know what you learned from yesterday's session. If you were here on hi, good evening, Sam. Mr. Daniel is here already. Our speaker for today is here already. So good to have you here, sir. You're highly welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening, sir. Thank you so much, sir. All right. So please let's let people know that we've started already. So yes, would like to know where we are joining us from. I know TJ, she's been joining from the beginning, and she's joining us from from Ogun State, right? Adigboyega Cafe, where are you joining us from? Francis, where are you joining us from? Let us know where you are joining us from. Okay, I think I'm seeing messages in the chat box. So where are we joining us from? Okay, why would do that? Today we'll be having a very interesting session with Mr. Daniel Ayinla. I generally call him Big Dan. Okay, I can see Francis from Bayelsa State. So excited to have you here this evening. Thank you for coming. Okay, I can see Akero Basi. Please, I apologize if I don't call your name rightly. Where are you joining us from? So good to have you here, Mr. Luasheun Olugbaro. Thank you so much for joining us. Where are you joining us from? David Makinde. I think I've been seeing David too from the beginning of this event. Thank you for joining us today again. So yes, okay, yeah. We've had 2 days of this event and it's been nothing short of amazing. I mean, every of our speakers came prepared and they've been sharing with us from the wealth of their wisdom, ranging from entrepreneurship to academia to technology and even to research. And it's been such an amazing time so far. And today we'll be having a very interesting topic, which is digital health. Like digital health is one of the happening things in the health space now, right? And we're having a thought leader today who is going to be sharing with us from his world of experience and how we started. I'm particularly curious about today's event because so I've been working with Mr. Daniel for about 2 years plus or 3 years now as a writer for his organization. He runs a health tech media brand, a health media brand, right? And I work as a freelance writer, and I've been working with him for about roughly 3 years now, and it's been nothing short of amazing. I remember right when I joined the organization, I didn't join as a writer at first. As at then, I was still trying to figure out my life. What am I going to do? What would I be doing? And a friend just told me that he has a mentor who I could reach out to and would probably be able to put me through as regards to writing. Trust me, I believe that was a good writer as at then. But looking back now, I remember the writings I sent to him because he asked me to send some of my previous writings and I sent them to him. Mr. Daniel was a very pleasant person and he's honestly a very pleasant person. He's one of my favorite persons. He didn't say anything about the writing. He didn't even say it was a bad writing. I know it's a bad writing looking back now, right? But he didn't say anything. I remember he told me that the more I read, the better I would be able to write. And I kept on writing from then. And I think for the first 1 year, I didn't write for the brand. It was after like a year plus that I started writing, and it's been an amazing journey so far. Talk about leadership. Mr. Daniel is one of my favorite persons. And so you're welcome, sir, today. So I'll just be playing his biography very briefly as we go into the session.
Daniel Ayinla is a registered nurse, writer, editor, and digital health innovator focused on shaping the future of healthcare in Africa through education, media, and leadership development. He is the founder of CareCode Digital Health Hub, a digital health startup dedicated to teaching, educating, and leading healthcare professionals in digital health, innovation, and emerging technologies. He is also building Care City Media, a healthcare media company with an editorial focus on leadership, innovation, entrepreneurship, branding, and marketing across healthcare, well-being, and public health. Through his work, Daniel explores how healthcare systems can become more human, more innovative, and better prepared for a digital future. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Daniel Ayinla. Daniel
You're highly welcome, sir. We're so excited to have you here today. Good evening, sir, from um the UK. Thank you very much for coming, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you
So
so
good to
much, Josephine.
So good to have you here, sir.
Thank you.
And I
Thank
think
you.
I'm really excited to, interview you here today because sometimes I even forget that you're a nurse because what we do many times, I forget that you're
Thank you.
actually a nurse. So I'm really itching to hear your nursing story. So can you just give us a brief about yourself, sir? Tell us how you became a nurse and how you found yourself in nursing.
All right. Thank you so much, Josephine. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the great work you're doing. Kudos to the team. Kudos to your personal assistant. I think Jenny, right? Yeah, she did a good job with correspondence and communication. Well done. It's always a very big honor to be in the midst of people who understand the importance of leadership and innovation, especially in Africa. And I'm so greatly honored. So quickly to my nursing story. Yeah, so my nursing story isn't very, very straight. So yeah, before I came into nursing, I was actually doing biochemistry in university, right? Yeah, I was studying biochemistry, yeah. And even that biochemistry too, I wanted to do anatomy and physiology, biochemistry. Then when I finished biochemistry, I wanted to do computer science or agriculture science. So it's a very long story, a very long to say story. Before somehow someone recommended nursing, I was like, was in because my mom is a nurse. She's a nurse actually. She's a senior um chief nursing officer, right? Yeah. So she was like, try nursing school work. And I was like, okay, let's give it a try. And then I found myself in in the profession. And over the years, it has been amazing though, not without its challenges, right? And ups and downs, but uh, so far, nothing has been good, right? Yeah, so that is it. That's just a brief snapshot of how I find myself in this profession. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing, sir.
Yeah.
But how did you start digital health? How did you come about, digital health, and how were you able to start up an amazing startup like Care City?
Yeah. So I've always loved computers, right? I've always loved the digital world, always right from the beginning. And so find myself in healthcare, that passion didn't die. And over the years I've tried to see how I can merge that passion of computers, right, with healthcare. And that's when I discovered digital health some years ago, as far back as 2019, 2020, when nobody was talking about digital health in Africa, right? Yeah, so that's how I was able to find my path. And then nobody was doing it. At least we were like the first guys in Africa that started to do things like digital health boot camps, digital health communities, and all that stuff. But I did with me. So if you will know him. Yeah, so we were the guys who started this stuff. Like, we're like, how can we use technology to improve healthcare practice and delivery in Africa? The focus has only been Africa, and then that was how we started. But I started with KCT Media very before, in 2019 as a simple healthcare blog on Facebook just to share health information. It was mainly about nursing, though. Yeah, if you can see the first brandings there, how do we share nursing information online? So most of you, if you know brands like FNA, Fellow Nurses Africa, and other old brands who have been in healthcare information media space then. So we all started together and all that stuff. And from there, digital health now, became like a branch of what we were doing. And over the years, we have now gradually evolved into a bigger media brand where other things can span out from, digital health, outreach, research, and all that stuff. Yeah, that's just basically how fun was that here. Thank you.
Wow. But because I know you are someone who is a very excellence oriented person. Like honestly, I think you're one of the people that if I'm talking about excellence, I can always point out to because I see how much detail you put into everything that you do. And nursing in itself is a whole lot. Practicing nursing takes a whole lot of energy and time. So, but how were you able to balance between, I don't know if you are still practicing now, but how were you able to balance between what you do in digital health, putting so much time into it, and also being a nurse and excellent at what you do?
Yeah, thank you so much for that very thoughtful question. So, one thing we must put into consideration is that we always have time for the things we love.
Mm.
We always have time for the things and the people we love. So when someone says, I don't have time, it simply means I don't love you. I don't love it enough to put in my time or schedule. So when I discovered that media and tech and all that stuff was what I really love doing, I had to have a time for it. So I'm a very personal person. I don't go out. I don't, I don't, you know, I don't go out actually. Basically, I don't go to parties or outings apart from church and a little bit outings here and there. So I'm always indoors. So I have my extra time is always spent writing, reading, research, designing products, marketing, all that stuff. So yeah, I've been able to put that sacrifice aside and say, okay, this is what I'm going to spend my extra time because we all have extra time. Doesn't matter how busy you are. You say you are 24/7 busy, that's not possible. You have time to scroll through your phone, right? You have time to cook, you have time to do stuff. So there's always extra time. So I've learned over the years how to put that time in use, in good use. And even when I got married, people were like, when you get married, you forget about your stuff. I'm like, nope, I'm not going to forget about anything. Got married, still doing it. Had my first daughter, still doing it. And it's something we're going to continue doing for a very, very, very long time. Yeah, thank you so much.
I
Over.
think I love that point you mentioned about everybody has time for the things they value. And one of the things I've learned early is time is one of your most powerful currencies. If you don't know how to spend your currency, you get back what you give to time, right? What you invest in it, you get back. It's not naysay. Whatever you give to it, what you see, the results you see in your life are they are the result of how you've spent your time, how you've spent the currency of time that you have. But I want to ask because you started digital health pretty early, like you mentioned 2019. That's when I don't think anybody was even talking about digital health as at then. Were there struggles you had? Were there discouragements you felt? And how were you able to paddle through that phase to where you are now, where we are gaining ground and we are doing absolutely well?
Yeah, so there were always struggles. And one of the biggest struggles I had or we had was that nobody was doing what we were doing then. Just like when research became limelight in nursing and healthcare too, people weren't really doing that. So the first guys who delved into stuff like that had to create their own systems, They had to fail, rise again, fail, rise again. So it happened to us. In fact, there was a time that I was like, okay, let us just close up this stuff and just continue with other things. Like it was difficult. No mentors. You get the point, right? Nobody to say, okay, I've walked this path, follow me, I'm going to hold your hands. Even up to now, we have very few mentors in that area when it comes to digital health and health tech in Africa. Just now that we are having some people come up who have read, who have studied, who are creating pathways, right? But then there was nobody, absolutely nobody. There were no mentors. I'm telling you the truth. There was nobody to we could look onto. People who were actually there were mainly in academia, like maybe they were researchers and stuff, but there was nobody putting himself out there. LinkedIn was very new then. Was there even LinkedIn then? So LinkedIn was new, so social media space too was dry of much communications about things like digital health and health tech. So we had to find our way. Failed many times, We did our first boot camp in 2022, right? The first ever digital health boot camp in Africa. I don't think there's anyone like that did that. And we would have moved on that momentum if we had strong mentors, if we had resources, very, very, but because the path we took is the path of entrepreneurship and innovation, not raw research where you can be sponsored by an institution or whatever, or get grant and stuff. We did entrepreneurship. So we had to use our resources. We had to sacrifice a lot of time and a lot of money, right? And up to now, we are still doing that, sacrificing time and money to push these things forward because the foundational infrastructures weren't really available. But now we are having a very vibrant tech community, especially in Africa generally, fintech, agrotech, AI, and stuff like that. So it's getting easier. You can get grants now, you can get partners now, you can get collaborations now. People are knowing what it's all about. You have people studying digital health in universities, masters, PhD. So it's getting better now. But then it was difficult. Like I can count two or three times when I wanted to shut everything down because it was really very difficult. But if you are on a path and it's very smooth, there's no resistance, and you're on the wrong path. That is just
Mm.
how life is. There must be
Yeah,
resistance. There must be challenges, and those challenges are meant to teach you, mold you, make you stronger. Experience you can buy in school, right? Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. So that's just basically it. Thank you.
that's really amazing, sir. That's really amazing. And I think I'm actually inspired because, so many times we start up things and just along the way we just get discouraged because it's not just working. So many things are against it, as if the world is even against what you are doing. And you yourself, you are not even sure if what you are going to do is going to work. And that's where my next question is going to come. It must have taken a level of foresight to know that while it's not working now, why it doesn't make any sense now, why nobody is really supporting now, this is going to be something that would be very pivotal in our world in coming years. It takes a level of foresight. How were you able to get that kind of foresight, right? I think there are things you must have done. There are things you must have given yourself to that have given you the opportunity to position globally, even when you were in your local space. I think you traveled like 2 years ago, if I'm not wrong. You've been in
Yeah.
Nigeria for a long time and you've been doing so well from Nigeria. How were you able to position globally, have that level of foresight to do things that nobody was doing, yet understanding that it was going to make sense in times to come?
Yeah. So I'm gonna approach that question in two ways. First of all is vision. You
Mm.
know, when you have vision, raw vision is very, you might not really understand it, right? But there is this, there is this uh witness you have in your spirit, in your mind that this is it. When you look at major innovations that have happened all over the world, light, electricity, the internet, and medicine, there are people who said, this thing will work. They ventured, they failed, they kept doing it again. You look at the most interesting stories of Elon Musk when he started SpaceX. So before SpaceX, the Apollo aircraft used what do you call it, disposable fuel tanks. So you go to space, put them away and stuff. But then Elon Musk was like, no, you can use reusable spacecraft like the fuel tanks. Yeah, And they were like, no, it's not possible. And it's like, it's possible. I said, no, it's not possible. And started SpaceX. And it failed again, 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 and again. Like billions of dollars went down the drain. But this guy kept saying it is possible. And guess what? It became possible. And the people who laughed at him now are begging him. And the guy is almost worth 700 trillion US dollars. 700 million, no, billion, sorry. I said trillion, billion US
Really.
dollars. So you must have that belief that yes, it's going to work. First of all, you must believe in yourself, you must believe in your vision. The next thing there is more of technical analysis. Before AI came, there have been AI researchers for close to 50 years. Oh,
Mm.
yes, yeah. AI has been around for a very, very, very long time, especially when you look at the defense spaces in America, Israel, and stuff. AI has been around. But then generative AI began to gain root in about 2019, 2020. People believe there were people who have been working on it. Technical analysis, like, okay, this stuff, ChatGPT, it can be a thing. And there were people who will ride on that first wind, right? That's what we do. Like, digital health, tech healthcare, it can work. Right? Don't we give it a try? The research has shown that, you read a lot, you see research, you see forecasts, and you're like, okay, this idea is valid. It makes sense. It's practical, and then you keep building, learning. It's very important because there is always a lot to learn when it comes to things like this. Things are changing. Now we have AI in healthcare who never imagined that one day I will type in a language model and ask him, help me with my blood pressure medications. Nobody was going to think about that, or telemedicine. And then the COVID came, and made everything, like became a catalyst to telemedicine, digital health, wearables, and stuff like that. Yeah, so there's a place of vision and there's a place of what I call technical analysis. You look at the research, you look at the forecast. Like now, we all know that AI is the next big thing, right? And then when you
Yeah.
read more, you study more, you see that AGI is coming, this artificial general intelligence. And then when you study deeper, you discover that there is going to be quantum computing in the future. You understand? So these are things you can read, you can study, you can find, you can research. So that's what we do. We look at the future, we look at what's happening and try to position ourselves. Yeah.
Well, I think of the things you've mentioned, it's obvious that you're a reader. Like you are someone who gives yourself to reading a lot and gives yourself to learning. But I want to ask, because I know that there are people here who is looking like, Mr. Ayinla is speaking from a high level. Were you always a reader? Like, was there a time books were never your thing? When did you start gaining interest in book, or it was always your thing from the onset? And what will you say to people who have struggles? Because I know a lot of people that will tell me that books, they have difficulties with reading. They would rather listen to podcasts or they would listen to, seminars and all of that. But I feel there's a level of mental muscle that you build when you read that you most likely would not be able to get when you are listening to just podcasts or conferences. So how were you able to give yourself to reading? Has it always been your thing? And what's your advice to people who are having struggles with reading?
All right. Yeah. So reading has always been a culture, right? My dad is a lawyer, right? So growing up, books, books, you must read. You understand? In fact,
Yeah.
I remember then when we hear his car at the gate, I was like, that is bad, that is bad, that is bad. We quickly rush and take books from the library and scatter on the floor because when he sees you reading, he's happy. So the book culture has always been part of us, and all of us, we took that culture into school, into education, into social life, and all that stuff. So like, so I preserve that interest and then explore it and discover that if you want to know anything, you can in the world. That's why I love Elon Musk so much, right? I follow him a lot. He will tell you that You can learn anything. He doesn't have a PhD in what do you call it, rocket engineering. No, but he knows so much about it. Why? Because he's someone who can sit down and learn. And the best place you can learn anything, books, books, all kind of books. Read all kind of books, especially the ones that will inspire you, teach you, help you, and strengthen you. Read all kind of books. And for those who say they have problem with reading, now I love podcasts and audiobooks too. But the way I compare podcasts, audiobooks, and live reading is like going to the gym. Nowadays they have this massage, what do you call it, massage chairs. I see massage you and make your body strong. They just sit down and you're massaging yourself and listen to something, and then you say you're reading. Reading is like going to the gym. You go to the gym, you lift heavy weight yourself. That's what reading is. Listen to podcasts or audiobooks is like just sitting down on a massage chair because your mind isn't really doing much. But in reading, your mind is always imagining, especially when you read fiction. That's why in research, they say you want to make your mind stronger, read a lot of fiction because in fiction, you are reading about a man in a town who is trying to win a war or stuff. Your mind is creating the environment. Your mind is creating the story. All those things are what I call weightlifting for the mind. It helps your mind, it makes your mind strong. And that's why we're going to have a problem in this new generation because nobody's reading again. Libraries are old. People prefer to, besides, I'm not a fan of ebooks. You know, I don't read ebooks. Ebooks, I see ebooks as a waste of time. So if you want to learn how to read, don't read ebooks. Don't use ebooks. Go buy a physical book. It's old school, but it works. Buy physical books. Read physical books. Hold the books on your hand. Because if you're reading on a phone, it's easier to get distracted. You say pop up on Instagram, Facebook, and you want to check. Someone sends a message you want to check. So you want to learn how to read. There's no special skill. Go and buy physical books and start reading. It's going to be harder at first, but just keep reading. One page today, one page tomorrow. You discover that with time, you get better. Yeah, time you get better. Just as simple as that. Yeah, thank you.
Amazing. I'm going to digress a bit. I have a personal question, right? It's unrelated, but I'm still going to ask. So there've been a lot of I've been seeing a lot of videos online recently of the research they've done, and they realized that our generation is the first generation in the history of mankind that has a lesser IQ than the previous generation, right? Which of course reading is one of the reasons. Many people don't read. We have short attention span. Like many people now, I'm very sure that some people are doing something as they're on this call, they are doing other things. There are people that joined and left the call because the attention span has really been shortened. But I also have a question because the way it looks is the same children who today has a low IQ that will become leaders tomorrow, right? They are the ones who will grow up to become adults. What do you think is the future of this generation? I'm sorry, I know it's very unrelated, but I've been itching to ask, what do you think is the future of this generation, considering the fact that we have a lot of things on the platter of God, and it's unfortunate because there are so many things that we have now that is supposed to help spur us to do better than than a previous generation. So, in your opinion, what do you think is the future of our generation in years to come, say in 20 years, and when these people, the ones we see that are doing things in the world today, when they leave, what do you think is the future of our generation?
That's a very thoughtful and disturbing question because, to some people, the reason why you are thinking like this is because you read and you are really concerned, right? Not everybody thinks like that. I come from a generation where we did a lot of physical stuff. So I remember when I was doing my research, we were writing our references on paper. You get the point. So you get papers and write references on them. Write everything on it and submit to your supervisor. They will take it, mark. and give it back to you.
I still did that too. I
And
did that in my nursing school.
you
Yeah.
too, yeah. Some of us did that, and now that culture is gone. Nobody's going to tell you to submit paper research again, and it's really strange when you look at it, because the next generation is going to be very difficult. But as you mentioned, nobody's reading, and AI has made it worse. Right? I'll keep saying it. AI has made it worse. AI won't make you think. AI will make you lazy. AI will make you redundant. It can make us redundant, right? But what you don't know is that the people who will lead tomorrow, the children, the kids who will lead tomorrow, I keep saying it, are being built today, right? They are being taught how to use AI the right way. Like AI is a drug. You can abuse it, you can misuse it. You understand? I know AI a lot. We use a lot of AI, but then when you must learn how to balance it. And we must teach our children how to balance it. And we must teach ourselves how to balance it. You understand? Because the people who will lead tomorrow are those who can use AI. You can't say, okay, because you're old school, you will not use AI. You will get, or you will go into extinction. You get the point? You will not survive. But then learn how to use it, right? And the idea of this generation being the worst is actually true. But I still believe that we who know can help our own children. Like we can help them to learn, cut down screen time, spend time with them, give them physical books more, take them to libraries, let them see, let, let them look libraries, physical books, let them look at it, let them learn. You get the point? So it's only a few, maybe about 2% that will now lead tomorrow. It's always been like that. Unfortunately, you can't change it. Just like when social media came, before social media, people were more smart. People had, I think, like what you mentioned, people had longer attention span. Even me, sometimes I'm like on my phone for a very long. I'm like, I have to keep myself up. Like, no,
Yeah.
Instagram, because I love Twitter and LinkedIn, you just reading stuff and discover that you have spent so much time there without actually learning much. You get the
Yeah.
point? So you are 2 hours on your screen and you're like, okay, what have I learned? So what I do is that I try to get apps that I can use on my phone to learn stuff, learn mathematics again, learn physics, learn words, learn vocabularies, learn biology, just to keep your mind active. Just to keep your mind active. Like if you ask some people now, like how many countries are in Africa? People don't know it. How many
Yeah.
continents are in the world? Young people don't know it. How many planets do we have in our solar system? You don't know it. Simple questions like that. So those simple things are a revelation of what the generation might become. People will now begin to rely on AI for everything. And people who use AI to think. Now people want to write comments on social media, they go on ChatGPT. Make me a comment, blah 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 blah. It's absurd, it's crazy. But then those of us who know must manage it, right? We must manage it, we must learn it because AI will not go. AI will not go. It's going to
Yes.
stay forever, for a very, very long time. I'm telling you. So, but then we must manage it. And then we are concerned too. But nothing we can do. But then your kids, teach your own kids, teach yourself, teach others who are willing to learn and preserve that human culture, that culture that has brought us to where we are. The old guys, the old scientists didn't have AI. When you think of what these guys did with that AI or technology, you are amazed. Blaise
Yes.
Pascal didn't have AI. The first guy who did the first modular calculator didn't have AI. They used their hands and scribbled and scribbled and scribbled and scribbled. Even up to Bill Gates' era, they didn't even have AI. Those guys, they coded from scratch. Everything was coded, 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 coded. Used their brains. Albert Einstein didn't have AI. They used their brains. So we have AI now, but then we mustn't throw away that inherent ability of human's brain, of human brain. We must still use it, but then now use AI to augment, to enhance, to make it faster. So before, if we say, okay, we did research within 6 years, now 1 month. So we should do more as a species, right? But then trying to preserve that inherent capacity of the human mind. Yeah, thank you.
So I love your answers actually. I love your answer. And I think one of the things that we need to learn as humans is that stress actually helps us. So many times the reason we use AI is because we run from the stress, we run from the pain that comes with giving your time to it. But see, you can't run from stress if you really want to do much. If you want to make something substantial out of your life, you need to run towards that stress because it's in the strain that you are stressed, your mind is stressed, you can think better, you can do better. And that's why people can't read because you can't sit down with a book. It's stressful. It's actually like reading is very, especially if you want
All
to
right.
truly, you have to read from line to line. And sometimes you don't even understand. There are books I've read that I get confused. I have to go back again. I have to read like a whole paragraph over and over and over again. It can be so stressful, but it stretches
Mhm.
your mind. If you want to do something
Yeah.
unconventional, you need to do things that are unconventional. You will need to put in the efforts that are unconventional. You can't expect to be
Exactly.
doing the things that general people are doing and you expect to get
You
a
know,
different result. Is absolutely
what do you know?
not true. It can't happen. Right. So I
Yeah.
want to ask a question too. It's in recent time, yeah, and when you grow in nursing, I was at Nurses Scope's first day in boot camp today, boot camp day one today. And from the conversation that the speaker was having, nursing felt more alluring, right? But in those days, even till now, for those that are at the preliminary level in nursing, nursing does not really look very attractive to people any longer. Of course, a lot of things is the factor. The system is not working. The people that are there, those that have gone ahead of us, they are not making it look attractive to us and the operation and all that. So, with the level of IQ that you have, I've had a lot of people that when they see how intelligent you are and you come to us, they ask, what are you doing here? Why did you not study medicine? Like your father is a lawyer. I'm curious. He allowed you to do nursing. Like, did he not have questions? Did he not say, why did you not do medicine instead of law? Because of those, misconceptions that we have as at then. I just think I would just like to ask that actually.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Yeah, so it's natural. Well, for me, from I wasn't really serious, so and I believe God has a plan and everything. I'm a Christian and I believe so much in divine destiny. So where we find ourselves is always a program of God, and I believe that coming to nursing is actually a divine plan. So I learned that along the way. We all have our own stories of faith and all that stuff. Yeah. So my own story of faith is very unique, which I cannot start to give here. It's a different platform, right? Yeah, but then my dad had some oppositions when I told him that I was going to do nursing, right? He was like, "Nursing." You get the point. It's not as if we weren't brilliant to do medicine or engineering. I love mathematics. I'm not deficient in mathematics. I know physics, I know chemistry, I know biology. I even know the arts too. So you get the point. So anything that comes on the table, we are able to handle. But then it's a divine something. Also, nursing is actually one of the most diverse professions on earth. Now,
Yeah.
I may sound a bit biased, but if AI becomes if AI becomes AGI, you know, medicine will be replaced before nursing.
Mm.
Yeah. Yep. Medicine will be replaced before nursing. Unfortunately, even the doctors know that. The surgery you are seeing now, there are advanced robots that can do those surgeries.
Yes.
Yeah. So if we continue at this pace of development, we build more data centers to handle more data, we have more research in AI. In 20 years' time, we're not really need some aspects of medicine. The doctors know it, not the small doctors who are just coming up, but the advanced guys who are doing research know that they are scared. Honestly, lawyers are even like, this thing is doing our job.
Mm.
You get the point. But for nursing is an extremely personal profession. You cannot clone that nurse-patient relationship.
Uh,
You get the point? Yeah,
yes.
you can't clone it. It's not no matter how advanced a robot is, it's just a robot. It's just an LLM. Like I keep telling people, look, these things you are chatting with and you thinking is that's emotions. They are just trained on data. They're just intelligent, just data. That's all. But what makes nursing really, really unique is that emotional, personal connection that the nurse has with their patient. The physician-patient relationship is very, 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 very different from the nurse-patient relationship. Very, very different from the pharmacist-patient relationship, or whatever you want to call it. It's different on another level. So because when I started to do nursing, I always think a lot and and write a lot to so I discovered that whoa, this profession is quite different. You are very close to the patient. The patient will rely more, the patient will trust you more. That's why in America, nursing still continues coming out every year as the most trusted profession, far, far above medicine. You understand? So our not choosing medicine is not because of any of whatever factor. One, fine, like I say, or other steps, and two, a deeper understanding of the profession, far beyond the surface, right? So when you see people who push the boundaries in healthcare, especially nursing, they go into research, they go into this, they go into that, they know what they're seeing. And I can tell you, we haven't really seen what nursing can do. Yeah. I can tell you, nurses can do scientific research, nurses can do innovation, they can do whatever that's out there. So you see, yeah, so being nursing is interesting, right? Just find, discover what you really, really love doing, and pursue it with everything that you have. At the end of the day, you find yourself having a high level of satisfaction. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. We can start asking our questions now because I'll just keep asking questions upon questions. So we can start dropping our questions now if you have questions, right? So my next question is, what would be your advice to nurses, right, who are just starting out their nursing profession, just trying to figure out, because as much as nursing cannot be replaced or may not be replaced, will not be replaced by AI because of the human factor, that human factor that AI cannot, give. Of course, there are still certain things that AI will be able to do. There are still certain roles of nurses that AI will be able to do. But apart from the, patient nurse relationship part, how can we, as young nurses, at the stage that we are start positioning ourselves in such a way that AI does not make us lose relevance, right? How can we start integrating digital health? Um, Tech into what we do, even at our preliminary level. Maybe we may not have gotten that far with the whole thing, but at this level, how can we start integrating it into what we do? So much so that when AI comes, it doesn't look like we lose our essence apart from the relationship, nurse patient relationship.
All right. So, one thing I always tell people is that whatever you find yourself doing, do it extremely well, right? So, as a young nurse starting or a young professional, anywhere you are finding yourself, whether it's something you love doing or you don't love doing, right? You find yourself there, that stage, do it with all your heart. You get
Mm.
the point? Do it very, very well. If it's possible, come out as number one, come out as the best. When you come out, when you see, when the reason why first class graduate or high flying students are actually first because they have that discipline to put in the work to come out. And in life, discipline is very, 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 very important. In everything, discipline is very important. So you're starting as a nurse, your first degree, do it very well. You might not understand it. In fact, when you finish your first degree, there are many things you don't understand in any profession, even in medicine. When you just finish your housemanship or whatever, as a new doctor, there are many things you don't know. There are
Yeah.
many things you don't understand. As a new engineer, as a new whatever you are. At first finishing, you don't really know anything. And when we're in school, when we finish school, we all the book in our head, and when you were thrown into the world, like, oh, it was a different world entirely. What do we do here? What do we do there? Emergencies, this and that. So but at that first stage, make sure you learn all that you can learn. Be the best at what you're doing. And then while you are learning, you look for nudges within you. The people who have the natural ability to become researchers,
Mm.
follow it. Like what people should do now is over specialize. Don't stay at
Mm.
the ordinary. You get the point. So it's like a pyramid. You get the
Yes.
point. So if you stay down there, AI can replace you. But then when you become so good they can't ignore you, Newport, you should know him. Nobody can ignore you. You get so good at whatever you are doing. You do your degree, you do your master's. You do your master's, you do your PhD. You do your PhD, you continue learning. So there's no end to learning. Just keep learning. You discover that when you keep learning, you get to a point where you discover that this is good. This is interesting because one reason why some people will study and say, there's no God because of what they have studied, what they have seen. They're like, there is no God, oh, this science thing, this thing, I be the real thing, oh, because they have gone to a level where they now see the world differently, like extremely different. So, young nurses, do your stuff, read extremely well, study well, put in your all, get good. When you finish, begin to over specialize. Want to do research, pursue it. If you want to become a leader, you want to become a leader, pursue leadership, pursue it. You want to do entrepreneurship, pursue it. Whatever you want to do, you want to go into politics, pursue it. There's always a path. There's always something you can do. That's just a simple advice. Over specialize. Get very good at whatever you are doing. Get really good at whatever you're doing. You know, come out with the first class if possible, or with the second class higher, whatever. Just come out good. When you come out, don't settle. Go do your master's or do something. The more you learn, the more you get higher in your knowledge, the more you discover that okay, there's a lot of stuff here. The guys who created vaccines that saved us all started from somewhere. The guys who did all the great stuff we are seeing today in computing, in science, in history, in art, whatever. It started from a very basic level. Nobody was born a genius. Nobody was born with all knowledge in the world. We all grew. We all built everything up where we are today. So start from that place. Study, learn, be very good at what you're doing. When you come out, your mind should be at becoming the best. Don't just settle. Become the best, right? Specialize, over specialize. Because the what they call over specialists are the ones who survive in the future. Yeah. People who can good deep in whatever they're doing. Work. Do your work well. Do your work well. Yeah. Do your work really, really, really well. And when they see you, they're like, this is good work. Mhm. Yeah. That's just it. Thank you.
Amazing. Over specialize, over specialize. I think that's the
Mhm.
word for me. So over specialize. You are not doing so much. It's those that are even doing so much that will be recognized. They are the ones who will still hold their place when everything goes down. So we have a question here from Francis Nwakike Shama. She said, please, sir, did you start your digital tech journey while in school? If yes, how did you handle your academics together with tech?
Yeah, so I didn't do any digital health when I was in school. The idea was just there. I just focused squarely on my academics, right? And when I finished, was when I began to know that idea. Now, it doesn't mean you cannot start in school. There are many great guys who have started stuff in school. Then, when we were in school, we didn't have this like date that will really motivate you, to because if we had stuff like this, maybe we would have started really early, right? Yeah. But then we didn't have those. That was our own disadvantage or so. But then I didn't start in school. But if you want to start in school, you know that now you know how to arrange yourself because at school or in school, in this area of our world, your academics is first. You cannot drop out and say you want to go to start up. You're not in say you want to be a dropout like Mark Zuckerberg or Or Alexander Wang, you are not that is not the climate here. It's different here. You have to face your studies. Prioritize it. In school, your academics is what you must focus on squarely. You can do other side projects, maybe start a small community, volunteer somewhere and stuff like that. But in school, the first thing first, your priority is your academics. And other things now come behind. So that when you now finish school, you've already built interest, you've already built community, you've already built some skills. You can now begin to continue building upon after your school, basic school, because school is forever. We learn until we leave this world. There's no I finish school. It doesn't happen that way. School is forever. Yeah. So yeah, that's just it. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. I have just two more questions for us this for you this night before we go. Call it a day. So you mentioned that you usually listen to podcasts too, right? So I'm just curious, what are the kind of people you listen to, right? What kind of books do you read? I think I have an idea of the kind of books you read, but what kind what kind of people do you listen to? What are the kind of people you
Yeah.
listen to?
So basically, the first kind of people I listen to are people who teach God's word. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. Because as a Christian, right, I believe that the purest form of wisdom comes from God's word. Yeah, yeah. So any sound teacher of God's word, I love to listen to them. It doesn't matter what denomination you are teaching God's word, it's pure, it's true. Because every wisdom comes from there, God's word, yeah. Podcast and stuff like that. So I love teachers who teach God's word, basically. Secondly, I love people who teach about entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is actually how we have come this far as a species, you know.
mm,
Now, the reason why you can buy this mouse or this marker is because someone became an entrepreneur. You
mm.
understand? Yeah, so we all need entrepreneurship, one form of entrepreneurial education, experience, or whatever, will help us in life. Yes, it's a life skill. So I listen to people who talk about entrepreneurship, the skills you need, the ideas you need, the frameworks, processes, the methods, experiences from their own failures, their own success, what they did wrong, what they did right, how they are planning their future. Yeah, entrepreneurship. I listen to a lot of innovation stuff, innovation and leadership. In fact, if you follow me on social media or read my stuff, you just know what I love reading. So it's either entrepreneurship, it's either innovation, it's either leadership, it's either tech or healthcare. So that's where you find me. Then additionally, I can listen to culture. I love it. I love history. In fact, if I have my time, I can do a diploma in history. I love history a lot. I love the arts too, and stuff like that. Yeah. So just physically, that's where you find me. Yeah. Thank
So
you.
can you just list like one or two of people you listen to in entrepreneur? Because honestly, if you go online now, there are a lot of entrepreneurs. Everybody has something to say. Some aspire to perspire, and sometimes you don't even know which is which. Some of them they're just pushing you into what they themselves they know that when they started it wasn't that nice, right? So, but
Yeah.
what are the people you listen to that helps you through your entrepreneurial endeavors?
So let me start with the new guys. Listen to Elon Musk a lot. Yeah. Listen to the guy a lot. He has a lot to say. He's not perfect though. So, you get the point. So you get the point at hand. Listen to him box. Podcast by him. He has a way of making you think outside the box. You get it. Point. So most of us we think our thinking is insular. What do you mean of insular? Like an island. Just straight. You don't want to turn right or turn left or look up or look down or look at the back too sometimes, just straight. Innovators are not born that way. The guys who discovered electricity but outside of the box. If not, maybe we would have been using lamp by now. We still using lamps by now. Or the guys who started flying airplanes, the Wright brothers, they were like, we can fly. People were like, really? They're like, yes. They started testing their first prototypes of airplanes. Gradually, it was not perfect. People died, a lot of stuff, but it worked. So listen to people who challenge your mindset to think raw, Elon Musk. Listen to anybody you have seen build great stuff in tech. Listen to them. Listen to Larry Page. Listen to Sergey Brin. Listen to Alexander Wang. Listen to those guys, to those tech guys. They are rich enough. Then, if you love banking and finance, listen to all the guys who have built great banks and great investment companies. They have a lot to offer. That is if you're interested. I'm telling you about my interest. I'm just going to drive about it a little bit. Then in business and finance, listen to Warren Buffett. You want to learn how to invest. Yeah. Listen to Warren Buffett. Listen to Charlie Munger, his old time friend who died I think, last year or thereabouts. Yeah, those two guys, listen to them. Then listen to, as usual, new guys who are building stuff in tech. These names are not sinking.
Yeah.
Listen
They're
to
not
guys
very
who have built
common names,
stuff.
right?
Yes, yes, yes. Listen to guys who have built stuff in areas you are interested in. You want to do research and academia. Oh, a lot of guys there. Recently I was studying about this guy, uh, Alote. You might not know him. Ghanaian physicist. He died. I was like, who's this guy? I discovered that this guy is an African who did a lot of works in X-ray. I'm like, wow. And he was even directly mentored by Oppenheimer. I don't know Oppenheimer, right? The guy who made the atomic bomb or stuff or whatever. Yeah, so you read about people who you are interested in, people who can inspire you in your own field, right? Research, go to research. Business, go to business. Entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship. Spiritual life, go to spiritual life, right? So so that's it. And then you want to read books. Newport is there. You know, Newport. Josephine knows most of what I read because we're in a small, it's very little, yeah,
Not
so
so
that is it, guys.
little.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
if
just
you're
it.
someone who loves to read, trust me, Care City Media is the place you want to go read. Like we've published a lot of stuff, and Ayinla is doing a lot of work, unconventional stuff about health, about innovation, about tech. If you want to be updated, I'll send the link to the group. You can read from our website, and I'm very sure that you'll be better than you are now. So thank you very much, sir, for all that you've done. Thank you for this conversation. I can actually continue the conversation because I'm loving the trajectory of the conversation. I don't know if anybody else has another question before I ask him my last question for tonight. I don't know if anybody else has another question. So, in one word, or what's the statement you'd be leaving with us even as we round up this evening? What is your closing
All
statement
right.
for?
Yeah, so as usual, do your best work. Yeah. Whether as a student, whatever you are, do your best work. There's no limit to whatever you are doing. You get a point. There is no have come and have arrived. No, it doesn't exist. Keep doing your best work. Keep giving in your best, doing your best work. Just do your best work, guys. Whether you're doing your research, you are doing your assignment, or you are in higher education, you're at work, just try and do your best work, right? Put in your best. It's actually a culture we need to teach young people because most people want to just do shabby work and go, shabby work and go. No, even us too, sometimes we are tempted to do like that. But we can talk to ourselves. Why can't we do our best work? Do your best work. So that's what I want to tell you guys. Whether you are a student, you are a middle-aged professional, or you're an advanced person, whatever you are, there's always more to do. So do your best work. Be inspired to do more. You get the point? Yeah. It was basically all.
Well, thank you so much. I think this particular word you're leaving with us is like a highlight for me for this week because I was listening to one of Vusi's podcasts with an innovator that he invited, and he mentioned something that really stood out for me. He said an 18 player in an organization is an 18 player anyway. An 18 player in an organization is an 18 player as a family, as a husband, is an 18 player as the owner of his own company. So you can't say that you're excellent at one thing or you put in your best at something and you are doing one thing shabbily. It just is it's somehow it's a mindset, it's a kind of way you see yourself. It's a kind of way you position yourself. If you think excellent, whatever you do, you would ensure you put in your best. Of course, we know that excellence is a continuum. It's not statutory. It's not stable, right? What is excellent for you now may not be excellent in the next 2 days, in the next 3 years. But where you are, your very best, putting in your very best with all you can do, as even as a student, as student nurses, what are you doing? How are you impacting, where you are? I'm currently working on a project personally, and I've been reading on some things today. One of the things I realized is that when nurses who put in their best as student nurses, you see them excel even after they leave school because it's already a part of them. It's something that it's a culture they built. You can't be doing other people's work shabbily and you think that when you start your own you will do it well. It's not possible because you've not built the culture. So just have an excellent mindset that whatever I'm doing, I'm putting my best, I'm giving it my best. You are giving beyond your 100. I don't believe in 100%. Like you can give 120, you can give far beyond and above.
Oh,
So
right.
yes,
Yeah.
just do your best. Put in your best in all that you do, and you will just see yourself keep standing out. Thank you so much, Tanyela, for this,
Thank you
for
so
this
much, Josephine.
session.
I
It's
appreciate
been
it.
an amazing time with you. Thank you, everyone, for also joining. Tomorrow is the last day of this event, and trust me, it's gonna be mind-blowing. We're having two more speakers who'll be speaking on corporate leadership and the clinicals. For those of us who want to, do clinicals properly, we'll be having someone who'll be speaking to us. And then I mentioned I'll be having a gift. I worked on a book because I curate CVs for nurses and other health professionals, and I've had a lot of questions, people asking me they want me to teach them how to and all of that. So I just decided to create a book because of time, and trust me, it's going to be worth your time. We're giving it to those who attend this summit, and of course, there's some other packages after that. So see you tomorrow, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Let us know what you learned. Can send us what you learned in the community page, and we'll learn from you too. Thank you so much, everyone. Please do have a pleasant night's rest. Good night. Bye.